Welcome back to our channel. Thanks for tuning in. Look at myself. I'm just like, ooh, am I doing this? Favorite channel. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Today we're going to be talking about something that is near and dear to our hearts. Dealing with grief, but not in the how to deal with grief kind of way. We're going to give you some tips on how to deal with people going through grief. Yeah. Some to-dos and some don't do it. Don't even think about it. Yes? Okay.
So we're each going to share from our experience with our dad passing a few years ago and the most recent passing of our aunt. Some things that people should probably not do. It does not help. Catherine?
So one thing that you really shouldn't do is press for details on how the person died. Okay? I understand that based on how the person died, it might affect how you want to support the family or what you want to say. But test the room. Really? Recognize that if the person is bawling their eyes out or barely keeping it together, that's probably not the time that they want to focus on the reason they're bawling so much.
Or worse, if you are not close to the family or the person's grieving, please do not press for details. I remember the day after that died, I went to a dance rehearsal and there was somebody that I think you joined the dance troupe maybe a couple of days ago. I don't know you. And when I came in, she was, so tell me, how really did it happen? I went, hey, I'm leaving, ready to go back home. Not doing this.
Accurate.
Don't know you.
There's also something called social intelligence. If you stay in a room long enough, you will hear what you need to hear, right? If you talk to people who know the bereaved, you will hear what you need to hear. If you attend the funeral, you will hear what you need to hear. It's not information that needs to be, written out or shared from everybody's perspective so you can sit down and relive it with them. That's not what people are thinking about in that moment. And as people grieve, they usually want to talk about it. But they talk about it when it comes up. It's not a, oh, no, you want me to share this story? Okay, so I was doing this and then, no.
Or worse, if you're really busy, like trying to process a lot of things or plan a lot of things or organize things, and somebody's like, no, so tell me what's happened. How did it go?
It's almost annoying. No, it is annoying. And it makes you less willing to share anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to talk about it in that moment, the fact that you are almost invading this very personal time, it's annoying.
Yeah. Me? I think you should, the words of comfort, things like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. It's not.
It's facts, that's true. But it's not comforting in the moment.
In the moment, please do not remind me that the Lord giveth and taketh away as he wills. So that for me was very unknown. Persons used scripture almost out of context or not, as we said, reading the room. No.
And I just want you guys to know that it was Job who said those words. He said it to himself. He was comforting himself. Like he knew what he could handle. So he said it to himself. He never went around and said it to other people. It was almost like he was reassuring himself of the truth of God. So me reassuring myself with certain words will come across very differently than you saying the very same words to me, because when you say it, it's almost insensitive.
And once again, somebody that is not close to the bereaved. So a random person saying, well, you can't smile again because the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
You just step away. You be taken away.
Please.
God, I didn't mean that. But you be taken away. Yeah? The other thing to not do is remind the people of all the things that they have instead. So it's okay. I mean, you had so much going on in your life anyway. Losing this one little thing is not gonna really impact your life. And I mean, it sounds like we're making these things up because they just sound so ridiculous, but these are sentences and phrases that have been said during our time of bereavement.
I know for a fact that someone went to my mother who just lost the only love of her life and said, well, you know, this was probably what was supposed to happen because your life was just going so well. You had everything and the Lord just had to give you this kind of test.
Mm-hmm. Why would you want to hear somebody say something like that? What's wrong with you,
why
person?
Why would you want to say
Whoever
that?
said that? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Ridiculous.
I mean, other generic things that people always do, you know, they say, I'm so sorry for your loss, and then they try and make another, like they try and add another sentence to that. So we know some good things to say to somebody. One, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yes. The end.
Full stop.
Yep. Walk away.
You don't need to go in because you know that after that you just start to say foolishness and you're going downhill from there. I'm sorry for your loss. Full stop.
Another good one is let me know if you need anything or how can I help you. Allowing them to tell you more what they might need or where they might need it to be. So don't just say, I'm coming by, let's go to the mall. No, I don't.
Suppose they're not feeling molly. Or even if it is, you know, good intentions because you know Jadine is somebody who loves going to the mall. Be willing to change your plans. Be willing to, when he gets here and I'm balling, just sit. It's okay. I think not forcing people to do the things that you think they want to do because probably that's what they normally do is also good.
Yeah. And especially once again, if you don't know the people. So I don't know you. We're not friends like that. Do not suggest to take me to the mall. I would not be going with you. I would not have been going with you originally.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm gonna say two. One is my condolences.
Facts.
It still works. It's a oldie, but it's a goodie. Just stick with what you know. My condolences. You can even put a little hug emoji after if you're in person. You say, my condolences. Hug. That's it. We're good.
Don't just go around hugging
me.
people. Like, that's for her. She's a hugger. Don't do that.
Me.
Don't come over here and just hug me.
Okay.
Whatever. And we'll feed.
The other one is silence. Silence goes such a far way.
So, Catherine, you want the person to call you and just be silent on the phone?
No, I don't want you to call me. If you're coming by, if you're visiting me, if you see me in passing, you don't need to say anything at all.
That is
the point
true.
that I'm saying.
Yeah, being like in the space of the person just being there sometimes is more helpful than trying to let's have a let's do
find the right words, do
need
something.
Sometimes you just need to
just be present is good. But also I want to just piggyback on what Catherine said. Like, you see me in the parking lot coming out, I have something to do, I have something to get. You see me, you understand the thing? Say to the Lord, boy, in God, send some comfort to Jadine right now. You do not need to come over and be like, I've been praying for you and your family. I'm praying for the comfort. I just want to. And I understand that sometimes we have a mutual person. So when Daddy died, he's our father. But he was also a mentor to many persons at church. Their Sunday school teacher, the leader of the drama group, just a church brother that you know. And so you in and of yourself, you are grieving, right? But your grief is not mine. Right? You just know of him. I am from him, literally his child. So we have different levels of grief right now. And please don't bring your grief and put it on me.
Yeah.
That's another thing people do. They come, Janine, I don't even know how you're holding on.
Him gone, Janine. What we are gonna do?
And I'm over here going, it's gonna be okay. I mean, it's gonna be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Imagine like that happened to me in the moment that he died.
Legit, still at the hospital. We are still at the hospital.
I was just like, it's okay, you know, he loved you, it's fine, you're gonna be okay. You know, he went to a better place and he knows that you love him.
All of this comfort. And I'm like,
Meanwhile, my sister is balling and my sister is just roaming the hospital.
Let's not get into that.
Guys, we'll do a story about that one day. Going really into the three perspectives of that death. I always tell people that it should be a movie because it's so intense.
It was
so
dramatic.
Okay, so we spoke about what was bad. We spoke about some good things that happened. Can you be specific in what someone did during your grieving process that made it better?
I think there was never a day that we had to worry about food. And it's not something that you really think about, because when you're grieving, I don't even remember getting hungry. It was just, persons would just say, all right, it's time to eat, and here is the food, it's on the table. I didn't even know until like after the funeral time and finished processing the fact that people were the ones bringing the food to our house every day. I remember one day in specific, one of our family aunts, people you grew up with, asked, what do you guys want for Sunday dinner? And they went and they prepared it and they brought it back. And I was just like, okay, that's great. But in the moment, I didn't think about it. One time I came up to my room, when you just need time away from the people, and I came downstairs and the table was full of pastry. Like you couldn't even see the table. The amount of pastry was on the table. Yeah. And it not only helped with us in terms of feeding the family, but when people come over to the house, I don't know why they think that when they come over, it's time for me to host them. But again, we can just say, there's snacks on the table, because there's so much. We could just say something like, there's food on the table to the people. Oh, there's drinks in the counter. And you don't even realize how helpful that is.
Yeah.
One thing that you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, for real. For me, it was having people around. So once again, when our dad died, our aunts, our family aunts, and our friends really just stepped in to the point where there are people like on phone duty, there are people on game duty, there are people on food duty who is taking care of Catherine, Betty, Judy, and Abigail, and it was something that it's almost like it was a part of their life now. Like, oh no, I can't do that because 8 o'clock I need to be at Betty's house to do this. Oh, I am on lunch, I am on dinner, I am on this, and you therefore didn't have to think about a lot of things, and also it's allowed you to know that people still cared about you.
Yeah.
For Judy, her best friend was here with her throughout the entire thing. Catherine, her friends from school, came and they were walking up and down the road singing and just having a good time. For me, I had my friend and her family open their doors to me. So just having that kind of support, so that even though you lost someone, you're not alone. You still have people around you. So that really helped.
Yeah. So for me, definitely those two things are things I will always remember, I'll always cherish as being very supportive. But also on a little bit more of a practical side, funerals are expensive. They are so expensive. Even when you're trying to just downgrade things, you're not trying to do anything too hype. Just like normal costs of caskets, it's ridiculous. And so we actually had people who gifted us financially. And I find that if you can, that's a really great way to show someone that you care. Because words are great and they're comforting, but at the end of the day, I still have to find X amount of money. I still have to know this bag of people going to come down from foreign because aunts and uncles have to come to funerals, and I will have to figure out where they're staying and how I'm feeding them and stuff like that. So if
that life after the funeral.
And life after the funeral. So especially for us, Daddy was one of the main breadwinners, which we've said before. And so thinking just, how am I going to provide financially for the children? How am I going to be able to do this and that? So when people provided financially, that was something that I also really appreciated, because it showed that, when the word says wherever your treasure is, there your heart is also. By giving me a little bit of your financial treasure, you are showing me how much you care in that kind of way.
Yes. Is there anything else that you guys can think of? Like, probably not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but just something that helped you cope in the time?
I know for me, a lady actually sat with me and talked about the story of Jesus weeping. And at that time, that was the first time someone had spoken to me about it in that way, in the way where Jesus knew he was going to resurrect this guy from the dead. This is a story with Lazarus. And he was at the tomb. He knew he was literally, like, as he finished crying, he was going to bring this man back. But he still grieved. And it wasn't so much because he was sad that his friend dead, as much as because he is such a compassionate God. He saw the hurt of people and he was able to grieve with them. And so I was very encouraged by that story. Just even the fact that my father is with Jesus now, he doesn't have any reason to be sad because he has him, but he is grieving with us because of how we are still grieving about it.
For me, it was having moments of laughter and having happy memories, so not dwelling on the fact that, oh my gosh, he's gone, but having moments where we could all just sit down and just talk and laugh and remember he's gone, but he had a great life and he had a great impact. And even on that laughter note, my friend at the time, She was awesome. She took me and went on the road for ice cream and ended up dancing in the parking lot of Devon House, like just opening the car doors, blaring the music, and we just had a grand time, laughed, sweat, and you are able to remember that even though you're going through something that's sad, there is still joy and happiness in life.
Yeah. There was a night when we came home, and I don't know why everybody just went up onto the balcony that we have on the roof, and it was just joking and laughing and all of those different things. And it wasn't just so much the fact that, oh, let me take my mind off daddy. It just reminded me that you have life beyond this one moment. And you're gonna have to figure out how to cope beyond the moment. So in the times after, because after the funeral it gets very quiet. You know, people more or less go back to their lives and then they leave you alone. So you kind of get times to pause and reflect and be like, whoa, all of that just happened.
Yeah.
But you could also reflect on all of the life moments that were happening during your period of grief as well, which helps you to not think that, oh, well, I guess my life is not just going to be sad following this moment. But it reminds you that, you know, weeping may come in the night, but joy comes in the morning.
Yeah. And I really like that last thing that you said about the funeral. So that would also be something I would just leave you guys with. If you can, continue to check up on the people after the funeral. Like, it literally feels like night and day. The day before the funeral, the day after, like the house is full, and then everybody's just like, all right, well, deuces.
Yeah,
So
we saw you to the funeral.
So definitely you don't need to be rostering up yourself to come by X amount of times, but continue to come by. Still ask them if they'd like some food, you know. It'll still be nice, because it lasts beyond that day of the funeral.
Yeah.
My scripture for grieving was, he's close to the brokenhearted and those who are crushed in spirits. He's compassionate and cares about me.
Yeah. I think that more or less just sums up everything. So Catherine referenced, you know, Jesus wept, he's close to the brokenhearted, weeping endures for the night, but joy comes in the morning. So thanks for watching, guys, and sharing with us. I will share some do's and some definite don'ts. Just don't do it. Remember to like,
Comment,
Subscribe,
share, hit the bell. Bye.